International and hosted here in Las Vegas at the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino. We'd like to thank our other sponsors for the event, Diamond Billiard Products, Kamui, and Omega. Right now we have a one-loss side matchup, and I'd like to introduce our two players. First up, hailing from Austria, can we please Mr. Cheng-Chieh Liu.
So the all-important lag as we kick things off here. Day 3 of the Predator World 10 Ball Championships. In the losers bracket, alongside Jeremy Jones, I'm Jim Weich. We're going to be bringing you all the action here in this match. Mario He on the left, and Liu, Cheng-Chieh Liu on the right from Chinese Taipei. 100,000 added, brought to you proudly by CueSports International, and what an event it's been. It's come with its share of upsets, and as you'd expect, a lot of the familiar names and faces are all present. Only one American left on the winner's bracket, though, Jeremy, Billy Thorpe, but still a handful of them fighting their way back on the left-hand side of the draw.
Yeah, and that's probably pretty fair as far as he's probably played the best out of the Americans so far, and many have played well, but pretty tough task here. Now down to the final 16 on the winners. This being a loser side match, but these guys trying to get to the final 8 on the losers and get to that redraw and that race to 10.
It's all being played at the Rio Hotel and Suites here in Las Vegas, and there's play all around. We've got 7 more matches, professional matches on the outside tables, as well as a ton of amateur players that have made their way to the Rio here for the BCA League Championships, National Championships. So it is a room full of pool players and pool playing talent on display.
Get a real good look at Mario He here. Very similar to his countryman Albin, as far as very efficient with the cue ball, but can come with a tough shot. Doesn't really miss any tools in the game, and a guy that's just getting a little more seasoning as he goes, and that's going to be a little much. He's going to be upset about that, and it's off angled, I don't think, to where he can draw the cue ball down to the low rail and spin back behind the 10. So this is funny. He can't go forward for a bank. You can see the 8's covered up. He may have to play a combination on the 8 here. It's only to escape this run and continue the run. Now the one nice thing is the 5's going to fall towards that upper corner pocket, so position on the 5 shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Well, he's just called for his extension. Just to give you the lay of the land, it's a race to 8, alternating break format. 3-point rule in effect. Any combination of 3 balls pocketed or passing that head string make it a legal break, and 40-second shot clock being employed only on the main match table here.
Key is here, don't baby it. The 5's not going to get away from you. The only way it could go wrong is if it ends up short to that pocket.
Good recovery.
And another little funny shot, just because the 7, 9, 10, and you can see the 6, he can't draw short side. If he had a little more angle, he'd go 3 rails around the 10 and up towards the 6. And he still may do that. He could force that. There's a lot of room going across that spot. Just kind of depends on how he wants to play it. He can come tight 2 rails as well towards the 9. Yeah, that's the shot I like. You could let your stroke out. Didn't really seem like there was going to be much of a chance of getting snookered. He kind of forced the angle there, but there was so much room, Jim. I think it was the right shot.
Yeah, he's got a lot of experience, only 25 years of age, but he's actually won twice last year on the European Tour, and those are no mean feats winning those events.
Yeah, it was funny. A couple years ago in Virginia, I made a little run at the tournament. I beat like 3 good players in a row. I think it was Corey Earl and maybe Ralph or something like that. And I got to the 4th round there in Chesapeake. And I looked at the board and I saw Mario He. And I was like, well, I didn't know the name. I was like, well, it had to have gotten easier, right? And the guy behind me quickly enlightened me that he had just won like 3 or 4 Euro Tours in the last 12 months or 13 months. I was like, oh, okay, sweet.
Yeah, and those are tough to win. All the top European players playing them.
Yeah, and I was really impressed with Mario. Real simple motion, which are usually the most effective.
He beat Sandor Tott convincingly en route to this clash here against Liu. 8-4, he beat Sandor Tott, very good player from Hungary. And he's got great fundamentals, as you can see, nicely positioned over the cue and secures the opening rack. So he's off the board. 1-0 he leads.
Yeah, and speaking of solid fundamentals, our player Liu from Chinese Taipei is, when you talk about the Chinese Taipei players' fundamentals, is like the first thing that comes to mind. Almost all of them just solid as a rock and very similar.
Yeah, I think they, they approach pool much like a golfer would be approaching golf. I mean, it's all fundamentals, and then you learn how to play the game.
Well, and it's no coincidence. Also, it's almost like they've studied fundamentals through the years and found out what is the most efficient. It seems like all of them really exhibit great timing, get the most out of the stroke, let the cue do the work. Now, open hand bridge, so that usually promotes not too firm of a break. Ah, well, never mind. Hit those with some speed for an open hand bridge. Is he going to get the 6-4 rails? He is, and the 1.
And 2 sitting nice, 3 in the same area of the table.
And very similar to Mario, a great starter on the 2. He doesn't have to do a whole lot to get to the 3. And the real sweet thing is the 4 near his hand is near the pocket. So position on the 3, keep it simple. Oh, watch out. Okay, that's good.
Won a qualifier for a place in the World 10 Ball Championships.
Well, I saw this young man a few places, but recently in Iowa, just before coming to Vegas. Both Kevin Cheng and Cheng-Chieh Liu were there. And boy, how sweet is it for Liu to be able to travel with those guys. A couple guys that are still looking to win many titles, but have some under their belt already.
Liu, a year younger than Mario. He's 24 years of age. He was dismissed to the left-hand side of the draw by Jason Shaw a couple days ago. 8-3, lost to Shaw.
It's another one that looks pretty good. Probably going to get better also as the week goes, usually.
He's going through these, though. Nice. Jeremy, never been in trouble ever since the break.
And he's got to be very deliberate with this stroke. Don't let it flutter towards that 10 ball with the cue ball if you're going forward. Okay, nice shot. Let up on that a little bit. The cue ball wanders a hair. You could get over the 10 maybe. I doubted behind the 10, but we've seen a few get away from the players.
So both players have held their break, and convincingly, break and run outs. And that's the reason the score is 1-1. Liu Cheng-Chieh actually won a pretty big event in South Korea a couple years ago. Beat Johan Chua in the final. It was called the Guli Open. And I mean, obviously I'd never heard of this event, but speaking to a few of the Asian players around here, it's a formidable undertaking winning that event.
Well, it doesn't have to be the biggest names or the most known tournament sometimes. Where the players tell you it's a tough event, that usually means it's field related to how tough the field is.
Rack number 3.
Well, it's a cue ball. Okay, a couple kisses. I think the one's going to get trapped. Oh, maybe not. Maybe. I don't think he can see it. But it is close. Oh, yeah, he can.
Well, safety, certainly the safety options are first and foremost here. If he can get through the gap, and he's calling it in the corner, bank in the corner, but he'll probably be keeping that cue ball behind cover.
Yeah, and that's the just in case he makes it here. He doesn't want his opponent to be shooting at the 10. Now, he certainly doesn't want to make it. But that's the value in the shot, is to call it. Now you see a 3-6 that is oddly locked up near the side pocket. So when you see that type of stuff, there may be a carom shot that's available there on the 6, but with the 8 and 10 there, it's going to still be difficult to run out because you're going to move the 3 out of position. So it's always big just to simply try to hit these as simply as possible when you have congestion.
3 cushion escape here.
Looks good.
He called the top right corner, so I think he intended getting that off the bottom cushion. But he'll be happy with that. He's left a chance here. I think that 3-6 might be the insurance policy that Liu has in his favor, even if Mario does get this one. It's a tough shot.
Yeah, and I really don't mind him going for this and probably spinning the cue ball into the 4. I don't think he's just going to let it wander. I think it's soft spin and let the cue ball try to go into the 4. I think that's where he was going with it. But regardless, I liked him trying to pocket that ball. Is he going to break this out? Oh, that's a dangerous shot to try and break out. Okay, he's just going to play the safety. And a nice shot. Another 3-rail kick, most likely. I can't recall if the 9's in the way or not. It's real close. Nah, I think he can get away with it. 3 rails, so he's called this in the side, trying to come to the back of the 2 ball. This will be hit with a little bit of pace. Want to make sure he gets a rail after contact. Wow, how well did he hit that? And I think it was you and I just right before the match, I was telling you, there was an error with the jump cue of players coming up that really didn't kick at the ball very well just because they were so confident, first off, and relied on the jump cue so much. But we talked about right before that's not this era of players. They do it all well. And it's really impressive. Oh, great shot. Real funny position here. You don't want to leave the 3 over the pocket, somehow just chipping it and trying to use the 10 as a snooker, and then your opponent either jumps the ball in or maybe a rail first in between the 10-8. So touchy shot here. He may draw the cue ball safe and shoot the 3 into the 8. I think that's a pretty good percentage play. At least he knows he's using some distance.
The first time that Liu is going to be able to see the ball directly, though. And chance for the safety here. Try to get the cue ball over behind the 8.
Yeah, real touchy from this angle to get it to bite.
Yeah, he's got that too thin, Jeremy.
Yeah, and that was just trying to create a little more cue ball movement easily, bringing it up on the 8. And I'll tell you, for for not hitting it well. He's left it pretty tough.
Yeah, traveled just far enough past that side pocket to make life difficult for Mario He.
Yeah, and you commented that it's the first time he could see the ball, and then a little bit of a mistake. It made me think of Nick Varner used to tell me in crunch time playing Efren, he'd much rather let Efren see a little piece of it off the end rail rather than hook him. He felt like Efren might make a mistake seeing it, but what a great shot, man.
Oh, now he's got this rack for the taking.
Yeah, again, a little bit of a mistake by Liu, but it wasn't easy. And Mario, he just got down and knocked it right on in. Now here he may draw into the 10 off the 6. Nothing wrong with that. You draw right into straight in on the 8. And the thing about that shot is you could just draw beside it, but then you might get over the 10. So that's why you sometimes use the 10 ball here, just to secure a few things, not only a nicer angle or no angle on the 8, but just to make sure you're not going to get elevated on the 10 either. And that's what I was talking about. You just go ahead and draw into the ball and move it 3 or 4 inches, especially as great a player as they are. They're going to control that. Pretty fortunate to get the right side of the cue ball here.
He's left himself a little angle on the 9.
But that could have been hairy if that cue ball goes over another centimeter maybe, especially stretching right-handed over the entire 10 ball.
Yeah, and being in the middle of the table, he wouldn't have been able to reach it comfortably.
No, and guess what? We're playing all ball fouls as well, Jim. So we've seen a couple of them already.
It looks like he's played himself out of the danger zone, though. And by virtue of some good shot making. And Mario He secures rack 3. 2-1 he leads.
And we got Cheng-Chieh playing Mario He Liu here. Now trailing 2-1. Seswick against Castro. Seswick leads 2-1. Skowerski up 2-1 over Kaplan. Ryu and Yukio 1-1. Filler, Fedor Gorst, big match. 2 of the young guns, best players in the world. Filler leading 3-1. Gary Biashi over 2-0 over Capito. Josh Roberts trailing 3-0 to McKinnon. And Boza, Shane Van Boning leading Boza 2-1. And we talked about it before the match. Shane Van Boning gaining some steam on the loser side.
Yeah, if he can get through to the sudden death elimination stages, the knockout stages, last 16, which this event, it's double elimination until 8 are left on the winner's side and 8 on the loser's bracket, and then the 8 losers are drawn into the 8 winners.
Okay, so a nice kiss on the cue ball there because I believe it was heading towards the side pocket. And here we may see a cross-side bank. Not only to go offensive, but that's what holds position on that 3 on the top rail. I think for the most part, it's the type that this class of field to win matches needs to bury these type. Just ignore the safety. Don't try to hold the cue ball anymore. Really concentrate and give your best effort at making that 2. Well, he's not going to like this. He's going to be put underneath the red 3 with the cue ball. And if he can tuck that 2 underneath the 6, the kick could become pretty difficult.
That'll be the game plan. Just tried to get it past the 6 and he didn't. Would have been a lot tougher.
Yeah, especially cutting off the long rail by burying the cue ball. If he sneaks that 2 under there, lose a huge underdog to hit that ball.
Now hitting it, maybe not the problem. Getting it safe could be another story.
Yeah, Liu would across. He's going to try and kick with speed, I think, and come across it. Okay, the reason why I said that is because even if you don't leave a shot with the 6 being there, you know you're going to get tucked away with the cue ball. Now this is a funny one here. If he likes the control, I like edging this 2 up the rail a little bit and coming back behind the 3 and just using that full 6. That's leaves it for a tough one. And if he can get him underneath the 3, he cuts off the long rail kick like this. Oh, almost.
Maybe just the right edge available for Liu here.
Yeah, and I think the 6 has got him cut off to where he can't really get down on the cue ball and bring the cue ball back. He may have to cut at this. If you can get enough of it, maybe you get the 2 to the back rail, meaning all the way down to the bottom rail and just go into the 6 with the cue ball and just kind of a soft safety. Keep your opponent from running out. Kind of like that. I mean, there's not a whole lot else you could do. It's not great, but it's kind of like live to fight another day kind of shot.
Buy some time.
Yeah, Mario, most likely, he may cut at this, but most likely he's putting him underneath the 4 with the cue ball. Pretty nice. Now, one thing about that shot, for some reason, Jim, when you go look exactly where you want it, you seem to do it a little better. It's just like you just give your brain and your mind that little bit of information that just kind of gets you a little more detailed on the shot, and you just seem to come away with better execution. Here, falling a little short, he knows letting Liu kick underneath this ball could cause problems. Oh, wow, he missed it. And normally when a player goes at that type of kick, even with a swerve, it's a pretty high percentage that they hit it.
Ball in hand now for Mario.
And he's got a choice. He could zigzag the cue ball 2 rails. He could set up very full on the 2 and just draw into position, which is what he's going to do. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Big chance here, though. Can swipe this rack against Liu's break. It's a cue ball to either slow down or go, so he's got some angle. He's got angle below the 3.
Yeah, with the 8 covering up that side, he needs some nice position on the 4 to get across for the 5. We're playing or the 10, or an early 10 ball is not a winner, so that 5-10 combination, you can shoot it, but the 10 would be respotted and your run would continue. I believe Mario, he got sent to the loser's side by Ralph Souquet. Is that correct? I believe.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And a tight one.
Yeah, it was close, 8-6.
Yeah, well, Ralph had a big lead. Kind of got all the shots and played really well, kicking out of some safeties. I'd watched quite a bit of that match. And then Mario started to get some opportunities and took full advantage, just had fallen behind a little too far.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been a draw that Ralph would have savored either. You know, first round, and he's, you know.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But again, you know, we all look at the draw and you think about it, whatnot. But it's still all about what you're doing. When you're confident, you're prepared. Doesn't bother you too much. You're going to have to beat those guys to win the tournament anyways.
Well, that's how champions think. But
yeah.
Sometimes you have a look at who's sat in that chair opposite you, and it can be a bit intimidating depending on who it is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we are human. That's for sure. And now, again, like you said, looking to snatch a game off of Mr. Liu's break and getting a 3-1 and breaking the balls in the 5th game.
So a big break upcoming for Mario He. 3-1 he leads. And with an opportunity to put a little distance between himself and Liu. Still so much to be played and so many matches. There's pretty tough to pick a winner in this event. There were 13 world champions when things started out on Monday. As strong a field as I've seen assembled in as long as I've been around the game.
Well, I think that's going to continue. Just too many great players. Too many countries really involved in this game.
You know, for a 64-player field.
Right.
Certainly, I've seen U.S. Opens in the past. You know, 128 plus players, and I mean those fields were phenomenal as well. But for a 64-player field, the event that CSI has put together here in conjunction with Predator, it's impressive.
Okay, much more square hit there, and as he got the 9-4 rails, he did. And I'll tell you, I think that's been the most consistent ball in the break on every match, just about, the 4-railer.
Yep, on the 2 corner balls, you're exactly right. And it's always tracking towards those bottom 2 corners.
Yeah, just a nice square hit on the 1. And I've seen guys go many games making them both. Okay, so just a little elevated here over the 7-8, but again, a nice starter on the 1, especially at this the best in the world level. Just natural back and forth. The 3 goes by the 4, so just as long as he stays off the rail here on the 2, should be easy position to the 3. Okay, and he's hit that perfect. He can just come 1 rail out. Now he could come for the side. Nothing wrong with that. Now the thing is, we've talked about it, when you play that side pocket position, you got to have a nice cue ball. I really look to come 1 rail out for the corner, but the side isn't that much of a bother to me here, just because the 4 doesn't pass but into 1 corner. But he doesn't want to get thin. He wants to get nice and heavy here. And he did great.
Yeah, even straight on the 4 would do nicely. Draw back up for the 5.
And we haven't, you know, like here again, the 5's very handy. Well, now that's twice he's overdrawn the ball a little bit. He's close enough to the 4, it shouldn't pose a problem. These players here on the 1-loss side will have to play multiple matches today, and then I think a couple tomorrow to get to that single elimination round. We should have it down pretty much, though, to the single elimination by the end of today, correct? Pretty close?
It's got to be close.
Yeah, maybe 1 match in the morning to get us down there.
I think the early round in the morning. We'll have early matches taking place here 10 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. And we've been informed, and we're going to be showing those matches. So get up early, get your coffee, and tune in.
Yeah, he's had nice speed on the cue ball again there. Just a perfect little angle to draw over for the 7. So the final 16, we got 1 match to get us to 8, 2 matches to get us to 4, and then that'll get us on to the last day, the final 4 will. So that tells me the last 2 rounds tomorrow, and we have 5. So the first 3 rounds tomorrow should be still to qualify. My math serves me correctly, which is a big question mark. After, what is 11 days in Vegas now or something like that. So.
Yeah, not a good place for the math to go wonky.
That's right. No problems with the math here in Game 5 for Mario He.
Yeah, he's made no mistakes. He's going to be 4-1 in front, and he's full value for that lead. The safety play has been top-notch, and when he's had opportunities with the balls in the open, he's done the business.
And feeling pretty well there. He just drew the cue ball back just to get a little better on the 10. He could have really stopped cue ball, but feeling pretty good about things here.
Well, it's not anxious times just yet for Liu, but trailing 4-1, and he's breaking. He doesn't want to dig himself a bigger hole.
Well, when your opponent is playing as well as Mario, that can make you a little anxious as well, knowing that 4-1, this deficit might be all it takes to get defeated, even if Liu plays really well from here. And Liu has played pretty well, just I think one safety error on the 3 ball.
That's it. And I mean, it's been all Mario He. Couple matches, couple notable matches on the outside. Just to let you know, Van Boning is 4-1 in front now of Boza, and Josh Filler 6-1 up on Fedor Gorst. Couple players that I think garner the attention of a lot of fans.
Little square hit there. You could see the cue ball back in your camera. Kind of hop back into its same position that it started in, and really no reward. Not much at all anyways.
Yeah, I could tell by his body language as he came back and had a look at this.
Yeah, that groups of balls, that 2, 3, 10, and 4, 7 around the center of the table there, it's gonna make it hard to roll out.
He's looking over on the right-hand side to push, and he's called the push. Good chance he might get this one back, Jeremy.
Good chance, and I mentioned hard to roll out. It's hard to roll out against this field anyways. It's a difficult thing, and I think he's rolled out to a good spot as far as there's some risk. Liu or Mario He, whoever does shoot it, is going to have to hit the ball probably fully and try and bank the 1 around underneath them balls maybe. I think crossing the 1 is too dangerous, close to a scratch in the upper corner. Like trying to cross the 1 over and run the cue ball back. I think he's going to get this one back, and I think at 4-1, this is a good choice for Mario He. The pressure is definitely on Liu to produce here.
Yeah, this looks like a difficult safety for me.
Yeah, that's what I say. I think it's just got to be hit it full and get it over to that side rail, and maybe you snooker him with the 10, maybe you snooker him with the 2. I really don't think there's a whole lot he can do, something like that. Just take a little chance. I mean, that's a lot of what the rollout is about.
And I think he's left a gap between the colors and can just get through to the edge of the 1, just below the 2. He's looking to see where he can knock the 1. Again, no offensive options here that are jumping out. So this is just trying to keep the handcuffs on your opponent.
I think he'd like to use the 4-7 more than the 10 like this, yeah. He could have ran the cue ball back for the 10, but that's kind of more of 1 ball to hook him on. He had a good chance to really get the safety, and now I think he's left an offensive shot. Could be wrong, but I think the 1 may play. The problem is he's nervy enough to shoot it in with a lot of speed and go all the way back down the table, come up and all the way back down for the 2. Makes this a little more missable.
First real mistake for Mario He, though.
Yeah, that's what happens. You try to, we talked about it yesterday on certain shots, you try to create a little bit more cue ball movement. Therefore, you overcut it a touch, and that may have been intentional. He may have just been calling the 1 just in case. He sure did run the cue ball a long ways behind that 10. Okay, I think 1 rail behind the 7. He could jump at this. Oh, he's going 2 rails. Okay, must feel pretty solid about the hit, because there's a lot of traffic there. You want to make sure you get the hit. got a lot of good things that can happen. Okay, great shot. Great shot. Going to leave a tester for Liu.
And for a fellow that's not spent a lot of time at the match table, you know, an open shot like this, tricky. Wow, that was
across.
Yeah, that was terrific.
Nice shot.
Given the circumstances, about as good as he could have asked. And he's left this 2 on, but again, position to the 3, not easy.
No, he's doesn't have it either of the upper corners. He's a little off angle where he may be going 1 rail towards the 10. So I think he's going to punch this around the 10 to just get a little thin on the 3. Or maybe, is he drawing this ball into the 10? Okay, I like that shot. Very simple. A natural way to shoot it. I think he was a little worried about that one at first when he let it go, like he had maybe overcut it. Definitely hit on the left side of the pocket, that 3 ball.
Well, it's a much required rack, this one from Liu.
I want to gain some angle on this 8. Needs to move the cue ball into position on the 9. And this is where the speed of the table is important. When that 9 starts to get out away from that rail, okay, he's going to follow 3 rails, and I think that's a smart play. Hard to really get out of line doing that. But if you were to draw it across, that's when you really got to have good speed control.
Our first real example of how well Liu can play the game. Mind you, coming from Chinese Taipei, that in itself speaks volumes, but 4-2, he still trails, and Mario Heel breaking the next.
And we talked about the qualifiers, the qualifying for this event. No easy task. That's what Liu had to do to get here.
Well, some of our sponsors for the Predator World 10-Ball Championship as well, Diamond Billiard Products, like to thank them. Well, without a doubt, the player's choice of pool tables. Kamui, they've got a booth here at the Rio. There's a trade show component going on all around us, and you want to stop in and have a word with John over at the Kamui booth, as well as Omega Billiards. They've got a booth here as well. Mike Huang and Gilbert, they're manning the booth at the Omega Billiards. So stop in, check out some of the equipment, say hi.
Oh, dry break at a big moment.
Wouldn't want this guy's job.
Yeah, right. Well, they have the tools for it.
Ball marker. You see that used a lot in snooker when players are asked to cleaning the cue ball, and the referees carry the ball markers in their pockets. And don't see it very often in pool. That one looked like a pretty unique little implement the ref had there. I'll have to have a look at that later.
think he got there. It's close. Pretty sure he got the snooker. If it's not a full one, though, you may see Mario kind of soft swerve around this. With the 1 and the 8 being a little congested, he may be able to create a problem for him. This is pretty tough, though, but it still may soft swerve at it. It's just seems like something you get a little better feeling than, okay, he's just going at the kick. We got him. Snookered him back. Well, I've been over to England a bit here this last year and got to watch a bunch of snooker, and I'm so impressed with some of the technology that they've involved with the TV,
with the angles where they get in behind the players and they show exactly what the player's looking at.
Yeah, that, and they put the computer graphic on there to where it gives you an image of the table, and it brings it up and it shows you the replay of the shot or the format of the shot. It's pretty sweet stuff.
Yeah, they really educate the viewership. Give them a real good idea and help them to understand the degree of difficulty with a lot of the shots that are being presented with these top players.
Coming 3 rails here is difficult.
Extension.
That's great a shooter. I wonder, can he soft spin this in and just take a little cut shot from some distance on the 2? If he tries to work the cue ball 3 rails here, he could get in a little trouble, and this ball becomes a hair more missable. Okay, he went 3 rails. Okay, he got inside the 7 nicely, but you could see there wasn't much room.
Yeah, any wider and he'd have been behind the 3, and yeah, there was he really had a very small window to take that cue ball, and he found it.
Yeah, now he's in a nice position. I think when he shoots the 2 and the 3, he'd love to shoot the 3 and not move the 9 for later in the rack. I think that makes the 5 a little bigger pocket. You can see the problem with the 5 ball near the 10. So if he gets a little angle here, he can get on the 4 to where he can fall below the 5. Now he's got kind of straight on this 3, so he may have to punch this cue ball. But I think he'd want to go right down the line just a little bit in between the 7 and 8 when he shoots the 4 and come down for the 5, I think. But again, he'd love to not. You don't want to move this 9 to where the 5 didn't go, but you'd like to leave it there to leave a little bit bigger pocket for the 5 ball.
Has he got the angle on this 4? He's just had an anxious look.
Well, it's not natural. He's going to have to create a little bit of it. If he was another 6 inches, 5 inches over, I think he falls down here with top English easily. But there's that little gulp you were talking about, a little unsettledness. So he's going to have to punch into position here. He did it once in the first game beautifully. We'll see what he does. Okay, see, that's the problem when you got to punch the ball. But I tell you, does he go for the bank with the big pocket?
Yeah, he knows about it.
He can almost go for the bank and stun forward and have position on the 6 and safety on the 5 maybe.
Yeah, that's what he's looking at right now to see if he does make the 5. I think he'll call the bank, and he'll do exactly what you just said. Try and stun forward and use the 10 as a blocker, just as an insurance policy.
Nice shot. And now's the big decision, and I think he should just stay short and cut the 7. I mean, you can come back, but if you overhit it and you're in a funny position, I like the center of the table. He can run the cue ball easily from the center. He's going to look to come back, though, and this makes the 6 much more difficult as well. I just really kind of like him staying in the center of the table and cutting the 7, but these guys know a lot better than we do. They're at the table and in dead stroke. But you can see there's not a lot of area. And just not the cueing he wanted. A thick hit there and well short with the cue ball. Kind of rushed it a little bit too for Mario.
Yeah, he quick stroke that. He's got a powerful stroke, Mario He. But that one he kind of bludgeoned. He never really cut the 6 thick. And the same problem though falls to Liu. He's got to draw below that 10.
Well, he doesn't really have a choice though, so he's got to let it go. That looks pretty perfect, I think.
Cue ball tracking right over towards the 8.
This is where he makes a choice if he stays on this side of the side pocket with the cue ball. I think that's probably what he'll do. Could shoot it with inside, but no, not necessary. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, I didn't like the looks of that one off the cue ball.
And what a big miss that could prove to be. Difference of 5-2 or 4-3, and you'd have been breaking. A huge miss.
And this ball's deep, so on the slick cloth, Mario may have to draw this cue ball directly out rather than using a portion of the 8. And that's, the better players will shoot it that way just because everything is a little more in their hands of what happens now. They could miss-hit it because it's that type of shot. You could miss-hit, but if you try to catch a portion of the ball from that angle, funny things can happen going into the points with the cue ball. So a little more refined shot the way they play it.
And again, drawing straight back and nicely controlled. So 5-2 looks to be the score. And for sure, mark that missed 8 down from Liu. That could be the one that I'd like to have over again, Jeremy. Crunch time, too.
Yeah, that was, you got to take advantage of any of your opponent's mistakes, but what seemed like the only mistake by Mario He so far, well, he missed the 6 ball, excuse me. But yeah, I guess that was about it.
Well, quickly updating things. I can tell you that Swiatek and Casto 4-2 to Swiatek from Poland, and his countryman Thomas Kaplan is down 5-3 to Karol Skawerski.
Another countryman.
Another countryman. They're from all over Europe.
The Polish are in the red, and
there's well represented here as I've seen in any event. Former world champion Yukio Akagiriyama, he's 3-3 with Rue. Josh Filler 6-3 up. Fedor coming back at him, and so is Boza coming back at Shane Van Boning. Van Boning 4-3 up.
And now a dry break at a really awful time for Liu after a huge mistake on the 8 and trailing 5-2. A lot about this first shot again. Navigating some traffic, not only making the 1, but navigating some traffic with the cue ball to get position on the 2. As you can see, the 3's pretty open on the right side. He'll have to get back over for the 4 on the left, but really all about this first shot. Get the run started. Okay, he's going to try and pull this, and if he catches just an edge of the 6, that's okay. And that's all right there too. He's got a 3-rail angle to come between the 7 and 8 to get on the 4. Gotta believe that's the way he's going to track the cue ball.
I'd love to get the cue ball back to where he just showed you in the middle of the table. Again, swinging it off the 3 cushions you've noted, Jeremy.
Yeah, and it's a touchy shot because you want to go past straight in, right? You want to gain that angle. So you're hitting it with speed that could get you out of line if you overhit just a touch. That's going to be perfect. Wow, couldn't set it with ball in hand any better.
That's exactly where he was holding his Q-tip.
And traveled some, 8 feet with the cue ball around those 3 rails, probably 7 feet, just in the perfect position. Now the 5 goes in the side, right? So not a whole lot he can't handle on the 4 to the 5. The 5 having the side and the corners. The amateurs out there are watching these guys, and you know what their capability is when it comes to making great shots, but really playing at the highest level, you can see, is all about maintaining. Really, consistency is the key. I'll just pull this back past the 9 a little bit. Key here is don't overhit it, give it time to grab, shouldn't be a problem.
For me, the biggest difference between this level of player and walking around and maybe watching some of the amateurs is how well they control the cue ball. The speed that they play shots. They move the ball around with a lot more ease. Developed a technique, the fundamentals the pros employ. That's what they work on. That's what all those hours of practice are. That's what they're geared towards, just getting sound fundamentals so it becomes muscle memory. You don't have to think about it. Just get your focus and let that back arm do what it's been doing for tens of thousands of hours.
Yeah, and it's much different than many amateurs as far as the pros. They swing the cue, meaning they do it with a natural flow and a more than a cinch, kind of steer the cue a little bit. Really use exceptional timing, and obviously there's plenty of talent within all these guys, but it's all those hours, like you talked about, Jim, that really reflects those wins.
And the dedication. I mean, there's a ton of sacrifice that a lot of these guys, have to understand in their lives to get to this level. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, and it
doesn't come out without its bruises as well.
Yeah, and it stages of sacrifice, meaning there's the hours of training, but then for most, even when they get to the professional level, they start playing the big tournaments, there's a year or 2 of getting your brains beat in, you might say. Growing pains that you have to experience, which is a big sacrifice as well, and really has kept a lot of great talents out of the game because they didn't want to go through that year or 2 of getting beat on.
Big chance here for 6-2, and he'd have the break in the next. And this match and the controls to winning it right in Mario He's hands. Gets the 10, and 6-2 it is.
Van Boning in a fight over there at 5-3. Josh Roberts down 6-1. I left yesterday when he was up 4-1 against Cheng, and he said, I saw him after the match. I asked him, he said just everything went sideways from there. He ended up getting beat 8-6. He had missed a 10 ball, he said, that he shouldn't have missed.
Yeah, Josh was a qualifier here Sunday. Got through on the final day. There were 3 spots available to fill the field of 64. Raymond Ferron, who is still alive and kicking in this, also one of the qualifiers. And Vilmos Foldes was the other one, and he has been dispatched, so he's out of the tournament. Terrific Hungarian player.
Yeah, he'll surprise you sometimes. Just play a perfect set on you sometimes. I've played Vilmos many occasions. Super talented.
So rack number 9 in the race to 8. Mario He with a chance to extend that lead and get to the hill. Cue ball kicked straight into the corner. Nothing, he saw it. All he can do is just put his hand up in despair.
And he's made 3, is it, or 4? three, it looks like. And an interesting shot here on the 3 ball. He's got ball in hand on the 2. The 4 is a little bit on the left side of the table, so he may have to open this 3 ball up. But with the 6 being there, how do you open the 3 up, Jim? I mean, this is not easy. Okay, he's going to try and bump it that way, but still, I think he's got to have a little fortune in to come away with a shot.
Follow through with the cue ball, try and hit it?
Well,
No,
I think he's
not-
going up for the shot, and he's just going to take a cut shot on the 4 from where the 3's at. I don't think he's actually messing with it at all. And he must feel like, oh my, okay. He must feel like he can get it over a little bit. But don't you think it's going to stall right on that point there, the cue ball? Oh no, he's got a little bit of room. He should be able to move it over. Yeah, but you see how it catches that point? It just doesn't want to go very far. But probably a smart play just to accept a little bit of a shot on the 4. Boy, and a big kiss off on the break there. A scratch to get it to what looks like 6-3, and Mr. Liu breaking.
Yeah, at least if nothing else, he's still got Mario He on his radar. 6-3 and break, and if he can get to 6-4, well, pressure is applied to Mario.
Yeah, our game can be cruel. You could see Mario hit the balls really well on the break there on a little kiss. Knocked the cue ball in the upper right-hand corner. Believe it or not, that could happen again.
Thumps that 10 in with a little authority and a little frustration. Probably the fact that he is 6-2 down, but 6-3 now. And he'll break in rack number 10. For me, the biggest thing coming to Las Vegas too, with a lot of the tournaments that are in this part of the world now, is the distractions that obviously Vegas offers. You know, not always easy to, you know, eat well, get that good rest. There's just too many distractions in the city.
Well, it's set up for a lot of walking. So you have to make sure you get your rest, like you said. Be prepared for your schedule of matches. And yeah, I mean, it's only the strong will survive, I guess you might say, in Las Vegas.
Well, one thing about it is we see Liu's break here is you're seeing a lot more athletic pool players coming to the fore too, aren't you? Guys that look like athletes.
Oh, absolutely. And we talked about it, I think, on day 1 of the 9-ball event. There's no coincidence there. The guys, you know, we have all different body types, build sizes, and everything. But for the most part, the guys trying to stay as healthy as possible. They know all the traveling that's involved, all the long days. It just gives you your best chance to perform.
As Mario looks on, and we noted that Ralph Souquet had bumped Mario to the losers bracket in the first match. It was funny because Ralph is spending a bit of time in the training room here running. I saw him the other day. He came out with his tracksuit on. He had a towel around his neck, and he had a dish of ice cream.
Oh, well, I didn't expect you to say that, but
well,
yeah.
That's what was so funny about it. He was sat with, I think, Frankie Alvarez, and he having a dish of ice cream, and I was thinking about him training. And I wonder if he's just, every now and then he rewards himself with something that he really wouldn't normally have.
Well, I've seen him on many occasions come from the gym. He does a bit of running, stays in shape. 50 years old.
50 years old now, Ralph, yeah. Yeah, he looks after himself. And he understands it's a young man's game. So if you're going to compete, you better take care of yourself.
Well, competing he's doing. He's still undefeated now after beating Earl Strickland.
Yeah, it wasn't the most convincing of wins for CueSports, and he's no stranger to playing somebody like Earl and how you have to remain in your bubble to be able to play against Earl. But you know, he played very good at the back end of that match. He started looking solid, and I think both players had a few hiccups in the early stages.
Now I'm sure Earl had to probably play this morning.
He lost. He lost to Lowe this morning, 8-5, and that knocks him out of the tournament. The gentleman in the elevator was coming down to watch him, and I had to give him the bad news. They all know who Earl is. I remember years ago, Jeremy, I was putting an event together. You might have come up for it. The border battle, we called it in America, or sorry, in Canada, and it was America versus Canada. I can't remember if I had you up for one of them.
Yeah, I played on.
But
that's when Elaine Martell made that crazy shot on me.
That's it. You remember?
Yeah. When he jumped to the rail and all that.
They still show that shot on television.
Yeah, well, it was on ESPN's greatest billiard shot ever. It was crazy.
But when I was booking the fairs, and I mentioned Earl Strickland, the booking agent on the phone said, "Is that Strickland, the pool player?" They knew who he was.
Right. Well, it appears the 410 is locked together. So, again, these types of hits are huge. Don't try to do too much. Do whatever you feel is going to secure the hit on the 3. It'd have to be really unfortunate to leave an offensive run out with the 4 locked up on the 10 the way it is.
Side pocket.
Yeah, he considered jumping at this, and he's gone to the kick now. One cushion escape.
Well, he's left him a 2-rail angle where he can attack and come 2 rails right at that 4 with a little bump. Come across the line the cue ball's on now. And it's not bad. You kind of hit this with a high right ball, hit right before the side pocket on the side rail. Maybe he's just coming 1 rail to play safe, and maybe the 4 passes the 10, but it sure looked like it didn't. Okay, he's liking it, so maybe it goes, and maybe he's just going to play safe. Definitely, though, either one, you want him to attack there and try and do something with the 4. Okay, he's got to cut this away a little bit, so this is funny. That way the 4 doesn't go right into the 8. So he's going to try and got to be careful here. Yeah, I was wondering what the thought process was there. You had to know that the 4 was going into the 8 if you hit it fully.
Well, that for me is as big a mistake as the 8 that he missed, because there's no excuses for not having your opponent locked up there.
And I don't blame that one on execution. I think that was a bit of shot decision making on the shot, and really not taking the time, because you could tell at the last second he kind of changed his mind, and that big mistake again, right back at you here.
Yeah, again, he had a lot of room to get around that 5. Just didn't quite spin the cue ball the way he wanted.
Well, it looked like he was trying to stay really close to the 5 and barely go by it. He kind of underhit it. If he just goes ahead and hits the ball and doesn't worry about going up to somewhat close to the head string, or a foot short of the head string, he's fine. And now he's got to shoot this, and I think roll the cue ball up on the 8. I believe that's the biggest percentage for a safety. Oh, he went forward. Okay, pretty fortunate there, catching not only the 8 and the 10 to contain behind the 9 with the cue ball.
Well, Liu's having a look at this, but little doubt he's going to be going back for his jump cue. He's got to hit it.
Well, there he goes, Jim. I like the 2-rail escape myself, but he's going to jump and try and cut this in, I'm assuming. But Mario, he's got to be pretty ill not to gain position. Usually things turn around there. You make a little silly mistake like that, not getting position on the 5. And look at here. Turned it right around.
Well, Mario may have to just get over the edge of the 6 here. He's having a look at it.
Yeah, looks like he's going to the jump cue as well. He's got to be aware of the shot clock. We're playing with a 40-second shot clock, and so I think he's probably going to take his extension, maybe.
Well, he's calling the right-hand corner.
So is he calling something off the? Okay, he's just going to flat cut it. He fouled the cue ball. So all kinds of things turning around in this match very quickly, Jim. Even though it is 6-3, the man leading is pretty disgusted right now.
Yeah, and he dropped his jump cue. He is in.
Wow,
He's in a sad state, Jeremy, right now, Mario.
Yeah, he had it right in his hand to go up 7-3 and breaking, right? Didn't he win the lag? I believe he won the lag.
Well, he shouldn't be hanging his head yet. He's still 6-4, even if Liu continues and runs out here, and he'll break in the next. So this match is still very much in his control.
Yeah, but just one service game away from being on point as far as that's concerned. And if I was in Mario He's corner, I think a timeout would be a good option after this rack. Just go.
A restroom break?
Yeah, just go, regroup, reset, relax a second, maybe walk, get the heart rate going a hair.
Yeah, it's the first time that Liu has won 2 racks in succession, still 6-4 to Mario He. Yeah, a situation like that, Jeremy, that's experience, isn't it, too?
Yeah, it sure is. And, you think about a timeout. You think about the many different ways you can use it or when it's used. Yeah, well, Liu's going on a timeout. And that's one of the other ways. Be honest with you, as far as the gamemanship side of the timeout, whenever your opponent makes a huge mistake, nothing wrong with letting them stew about it and sit and think about it a little bit more before they get on. They get on with it to the next game. But yeah, you can tell he's pretty warm right now, boy.
Yeah, he's got to guard against overhitting this break too, because it really is as much about control as it is power, and you don't want to err one side or the other.
And Mario, true professional, so we talk about all these things, but it's still a very small percentage that it's going to get to him, and he's going to make a physical mistake behind it still. But that's what things like this lead towards. Oh, he hit those great. And he's going to get a nice shot on the 1 if the 3 opens up, and I think it did. But he can play the 1 off the 3, it appears, so that 3-6 that's a little tied up should be a problem. Maybe not. Maybe the 3's past the point a little too much to where he can't play the 1. Really?
Yeah, and the 7 takes the 3-6 combination away.
Yeah. I think he can play it off of it. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah, I'm not sure what both players were just kind of questioning something. The 40-second shot clock, Mario, I haven't heard him call for an extension yet, but I'm quite sure that he has to have.
Yeah, he has. Mario did earlier. Now what he does have here is he can fall below the 2 and look at a 3 rail, kind of hit the side rail off the 2, come down to the bottom rail and back up at the 6-3 trying to break it out. He'll make that decision depending on how he falls here. It's a little thick. You would have rather had a little thinner just to gain a little more momentum on the cue ball. And the problem with that shot is you could get stuck. He may still try to force it there, though. It's going to take a lot of speed. He'll want to hit just before the middle diamond on the bottom rail off that second rail. Yeah, he's not going to get it. And now he's trapped himself a bit. So that's the liability behind that type of shot. Is if you don't get it, you could really put yourself in a bad spot. Can he just roll up on the 3 here and take his medicine? Was he trying to edge this ball and go behind the 4? Oh, wow. Okay. Ooh, almost got there. Pretty nifty little shot, though, I'll tell you.
That cue ball travels about an inch further, and he would have had Liu in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, now he can play safe if he wants. He could try to swing at a 7 ball with the cue ball, but man, hard to think that you're going to be able to get shape for sure. Got to think he's just playing the 3 behind the 4 and the cue ball behind the 10. Pretty nice. I think pretty nice anyways. Oh, he's got a jump shot up, it appears. So he's going to jump at this, calling it cross corner, but knowing he can move the cue ball down table and maybe the 3 gets to the back rail somehow. Well, he's not jumping at it now. He's looking at the kick. And the reason why I thought he may jump at that half a ball is because the kick's not easy.
And he's called a 7.
Oh, all right, he's going for a little more power with the jump cue. So he's trying to 3 rail this. That's what I thought he would try to do, something like that, create some separation, maybe get some fortune. He just used a little bit more of a full cue to jump with there, trying to get more power on the cue ball.
And he has left this 3 available. Thin cut into the top right corner, and Liu's already called the right corner.
This is just sitting to where watch out for the side pocket. The side pocket might swallow this cue ball up. It's just that type of shot. Oh, you hit it way thick, so the side pocket won't be involved. As far as the cue ball, is he going to get a roll? I think he did.
Yeah, I think Mario, he knew before he got out of his chair that this wasn't going to be a real welcome back to the table type of shot.
No, and he may be able to get the top of the 3 to where he could maybe cross it over, but no, that'll tell you right now he doesn't even have that. He's coming to the bottom rail. Great shot. Great shot.
Far from straightforward here, too. Even if he gets the 7, got a lot of traffic that he's got to try and avoid.
Yeah, and if he rolls the 4, it could end up behind the 6 and the cue ball maybe behind the 9 or 10. So I think he'll just go ahead and take his chances here. Hitting it hard, you don't figure to make them both. There's that medium speed when you make them both. So he'll draw the cue ball to the side of the rail and have a lot of speed on this object ball, I believe. Yeah, I think that's the smart play. It looks a little bit, what you might say, you're not going to determine what's happening, but I still think that's the best percentage play to not put yourself in a real bad situation.
A thin cut on the 4 available. He's going to have to come with a good shot here to continue.
Yeah. And this is one when people get distance, they want to overhit it a little bit, but I believe Mario will stay pretty true as far as a nice, oh, he's going downward a little bit like he's spinning it. That's surprising. I thought he would just level out and try and go up and down the table. Now the one thing spinning this ball in with right English is if the 4 doesn't hit the pocket, all right, he's leveling out. I like this. Nice medium speed. So, but when they spin it, see, he decided to play it with the right. And what happens is you feel like you have a little more element of safety if that shooting it that way, because the 4 usually won't stay near the pocket.
Well, big shot here on the 4. If Liu can knock this in, the 6 is over the bottom corner. This match has done an about face on Mario He. 6-2. He was in front in complete control at one point. Now, it looks like he's going to be 6-5, and Liu will break.
Well, this is funny as well, though. Unless he can not hit the 10 with the cue ball, he's got to have a little concern. Where's the 10? Okay, if he can cheat it, not hit the 10, that'd be nice. But otherwise, he's got to be a little concerned where the 10's going. Okay, did it open? It did.
Well, no prizes. As Liu looks at this 10, that'll make it 3 racks in a row. No prizes for guessing who's got the momentum right now. Even though Mario He still leads 6-5, the man who's going to be breaking has to be feeling a lot better about where they sit in this match right now.
And Mario wondering what he has to do. Made a nice rail first on the 3 there. Got long distance on a 4-7 combination. I think he shot it the correct way. He just came across, came out with a tough shot on the 4. And didn't hit it how he wanted, but he said kind of feels like Liu's going to break and get a shot here to get this match tied. Now whether he performs and gets it done, we'll see. Okay, dry so far. The 4-reeler on the 8, though, and a nice starter on the 1, and I think an angle to get on the 2. May have to punch it a hair just to make sure he gets by the 10, but I think it's just, yeah, just a little. He's hitting down on it just a skosh. Is that going to get there? Okay. I don't think that was the route, but he'll take it.
And this rack is completely opened up for him now. Mario just looking at him sat in his chair. I think almost a look of resignation on his face.
Yeah, they are open, but Liu has got to, he's going to have to move the cue ball some. You can see the 5 to the 6 back for the side. So he's going to have to shoot the 5 with a little angle. Still shouldn't be a problem, but work left to do.
He's going to have plenty of angle on the 5. It's just off straight on this 4, so just stop the cue ball right there.
So the only problem left really is not only making the 5 on the next shot. Okay, he moved it over into prime position actually. And now he doesn't have to worry too much about the 10. If he had been a little thinner, you might have a little concern coming backwards because the cue ball is going to have a little more speed on it. But now he should hold this nicely, 2 rails. And we have got ourselves a match, that's for sure. A bit funny shot here. Over the 9. Oh, man, he hit it well.
And his hand was close to that 9. Never really took a look to see how close he was. One thing about it, he's finishing this match in a lot better form than he started it. This is going to be 4 racks in a row. He's erased a 6-2 deficit. It's now 6 each. And 2 out of 3 to remain in the event.
And we're going to get you some updates here. Assuming, oh, Shane Van Boening down 6-5 now.
He was 3-1 up at one point there.
Yeah. Josh Roberts trailing 7-3 to McCann. Kurabayashi wins 8-3 over Capito maybe. 6-6 here on the main table. 5-5 Casto and Seswick. Is that right? Seswick?
Swiatek.
Swiatek. Oh, okay.
Polish.
Swiatek. Okay. And the 2 Japanese players, Yukio and Rio. 6-4 to Yukio. Okay, he's gotten some kisses on the cue ball, but he's hit the break really well overall. Oh. Wow. Wow.
He's not going to be able to see this one, so at least the cue ball stayed on the table, but
Well, the one good thing for him is he's made enough balls to where he can roll out and the safety's not super easy because there's not enough congestion to get a definite hook, I don't think. You can kind of see there's not much to like bury the cue ball behind. So he may be able to roll out to this corner over here where he's standing now, and knowing he's probably not going to get it back, but at least if he does get snookered off the shot, it's not going to be devastating, you would think.
and 4 balls made on the break too, Jeremy, so it would have been disastrous if that cue ball would have found that side pocket.
Yeah, it looks like Liu is going to take a timeout or maybe get some water. A little restroom break at 6-6 maybe.
Yeah, no, he's walked by the water cooler, so it is a restroom break. But this match has definitely done an about face on Mario. He, as I've noted earlier, at 6-2 at one point. He was 4-1 ahead as well. And seemed like he was in cruise control, but such is the nature of pool, you know, mistake here, mistake there. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be a mistake, just a little slice of ill fortune, and the controls can be taken away from you. Van Boening back to 6-6 now with Bosa. There'll be a lot of American fans out there paying attention to that match. Still a lot of people picking Van Boening, even though he lost to Billy Thorpe in his opening round. We know that Earl Strickland is no longer with us. He lost 2 in a row. Suke knocked him to the losers bracket, and then Lowe from China knocked him out.
Yeah, we've got some. I believe, what will it be tonight? It'd have to be, I guess, mainly loser sides, but we still have one round of the winner side to get advanced out there to get to the final 16. We got 16 left on the winner side. We've got to get that down to 8.
So the choice here for Liu from the push out.
I think he's going to chip it and just try to float behind the 2. Whereas they may look at a thicker hit and try and come behind the 10. But there's not a lot of, you know, like I said at the beginning, you're not going to probably bury your opponent anyways. But you're not going to pass the shot either. You're going to take a chance at it. He's gotten him in a little bit of a funny spot here. Not easy. I think he's going to have to take a chance on the left side of the 1 and running the cue ball maybe back into the position it's on now. Now, if the one could peek out there and give him a little bit of a shot, but I think that's better than trying to roll your ball here and take a chance from 9 feet away, getting him behind that 3.
You got to watch for that corner pocket here too.
That's right. Yeah, that's a great hit. I think it's going to work out perfectly. But anytime you just play the cue ball, that's all you can do is just play the rock. And take your chances. Now this is a similar shot to a 3 ball he had just a few games ago where
Caught it thick.
Caught it thick and was fortunate to win the game, believe it or not. But I think he can definitely get at it. No doubt about it. Well, now he's going to the jump cue, so this is odd, man. In Vegas, I would sure bet that he could see the left side of that 1 ball. The screen just fools us all the time, but man, what a tough jump, right? The 2's like 3 feet away.
Well, he's come back for his playing cue.
Yeah, I was going to say the jump I don't like anyways, just because you have to jump it so hard and far to get over the edge of the 2. He's going to swerve this. Wow. Ooh, man, good effort. Well, it's bows us up 7-6 on Van Boning. So all the matches from the 12:30 round still going. Obviously close because or else they wouldn't still be going. But man, some nail biters.
Close to overrunning position, but he's okay. This is where living in the present, for me, it's a key, and a lot of the Filipinos are the best, just leaving all that baggage from the mistakes, the chances you've had, forgetting it, and
the bad rolls, whatever it may be.
Yeah, whatever it might be, because here he's got a chance. You know, he's lost 4 in a row. He's got to try and maintain that positive outlook.
I think he's got to just feather the 7 here. Yeah, playing for it as well. So a nice shot there and really a perfect angle to just come out 2 rails right towards the 5. You can see the 7 hanging. If he can get out here at bare minimum, he'll get to break the balls hill if we go that far.
And there'll be a lot more pool coming your way following this match. 3 o'clock, I think, slated. We've got Danny Olson and Copigny. I believe that's going to be the next match on table 1 here in the CSI Arena.
Copigny suffering a tough loss to Alex Pagulayan. Was ahead 5-2, I think, in that match.
Alex ended up winning at 8-6.
Yeah.
And now he's playing the younger Co brother.
Since there's an argument on who's better, most say the older. I kind of prefer the younger. It just seems to me he just really even more efficient than older brother. I mean, they both play great. It's really nothing, not much difference.
7-6. It's been a while since Mario's won a rack. And now he gets to the hill. Van Boning still trailing 7-6 and haven't had a scoring update in that one yet.
Yeah, we got Tyler Stour coming up next round against John Mora. North American shootout there. John Mora, one of the top probably 3 or 4 greatest players ever come from Canada as far as 9-ball pool, I would think, any type of American pool.
No, I'd have to concur with that.
Alex Pagaline maybe being the best ever to come from
Alex
Canada.
might be the best Q sportsman we've ever had, period.
Yeah.
I mean, there were many years he held the world or the Canadian Snooker Championship, Canadian 9-ball, Canadian 10-ball. I mean, every time he comes to Canada, he wins multiple national titles when those events are on. They're happy he's not playing in the snooker anymore.
All right, here we are, 7-6. He broke them really well on his last attempt. Had a breaking run to get it to 6-6. I didn't hear any down. Okay, now they're starting to fall. And he's going to get a little bit of a funny shot on the 1, I think, with the 2 hanging. I think he has a cross-side bank. If he wants to go, yes, he does. The 4 is open, the 1's not in the way. I shoot at this myself. The players are so good kicking at the ball. It doesn't look like he's taking much time at all, and he's just going to play safe. And I would have had to have thought about that one, Jim. Your big favorite to make that bank. Like I said, the players kick so well. There's congestion on the table. Again, the player always sees the shot a little better than we do, but there would at least been something to think about.
Well, and you can always get lucky if you miss it.
Well, that too, and I just think he's going to make it anyways. And if he hits either side of this 1 ball, he's got a huge chance. And he called it cross side.
And that was the call. What a shot.
And now here comes the jump cue and a good chance to steal this match. And I wish I knew Liu a little better. If he goes on to lose this, that I'd like to be able to ask him after the match. I wish I knew him at all, really. I don't know him very well at all, but I met him. But I'd like to ask him if that bank went or if it was any thought at all. Because really, you want to stay aggressive at this level. Okay, he's got to watch out for the ball off the table here. That being the cue ball. Okay, what's the 6 going to do? Is he going to get elevated? No, he's going to get almost perfect. Could have used the hair more angle, but he'll work with it. He'll just stun the cue ball here and stay in between the 9 and 10, trying not to be elevated on this 4.
Yeah, the winning line is in sight. Now he's just got to maintain his nerve, keep everything in check, and close this one out.
That looks perfect as far as cue ball control. He may be a hair over the 10, but it's not much. And he got as heavy on the 4 as he could probably get. Just come 2 rails. Oh, he may float this just 1 rail. And this is a smart shot because it not only makes the pocket a hair bigger, but you're over the ball. And if you try to go 2 rails, this ball could get away from you. I like him recognizing that just 1 rail is a real natural speed to come across and play the 6 in the same pocket. And another thing is the 7's so handy. Oh, it still fell on him quite a bit. It still fell on him quite a bit.
And he is close to his work. Still makeable. He's got a little room to maneuver that cue ball here, but he didn't want to be that close to the 6.
No, and he may have to shoot away from this with a little inside English coming 2 rails out of that top left corner. Yeah, he's got a bit of a cut here. So it's kind of hard to draw it one rail over when you're so close. But you can shoot away with a little low right here and wrap the cue ball out of the corner. Well, Shane Van Boening has been defeated 8-6. I wonder exactly how that match went down. Shane's been playing really well and had a lead. Yeah, that's the shot I was talking about there. A lot easier to get the cue ball moving for you and going towards that 7 with a little side spin. Still not out of the woods, though.
Yeah, it could have dropped just a little easier. The cue ball would have been away from that side cushion. This would have been straightforward. Now he's got to come with a good shot.
Yeah, and as far as ending a match, maybe the shot of the tournament on the kick bank on the 1 ball.
Yeah, when Liu refused the bank, oh, he hit that one as sweet as he could. And look where he's dropped on the 9. Perfect. Yeah, like you say, Jeremy, you'd like to have a word with Liu just to see why he refused that bank, because he's not going to get another chance.
Yeah, and that's maybe a little bit of the youth not realizing the percentages when the guy's kicking the balls when there's so many on the table. Not only the safety aspect, but hey, just right there, he knocked it right in.
Well, there were some anxious moments for Mario He in the middle part of this match, but he survives the scare, an 8-6 winner, and he'll move on. Next up, it's going to be Danny Olson and Ko Pin Yi coming your way around 3 o'clock. Well, for Jeremy Jones, I'm Jim White. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Huh? Yeah, it was up. Yeah. What happened? Because he was ahead. Thanks, Jim.
Why don't I just got the last one?
5:30, right? Because I'm going over to Washington Juniors for a couple hours. Okay.
Red shirt says
All the polo guys wear the red.
Okay, where's he from? Tucson? He's part of our junior program.
So 3 o'clock, the next one?
3 o'clock, sir. Okay. Gotta go 5.